Good morning. Thank you for joining us for the News 12 FastCast. I'm Nick Proto. We're going to start off with weather this morning. We do have a first alert weather day. Our weather team was telling you all about it last week. Just been upgraded now to a first alert weather day in the last 24 hours or so. Severe storms on the way. Let's send it over to Tim.
Nick here, and reason being is this has been an increasingly strong and dangerous line of storms all night and this morning. We've had severe thunderstorm warnings active and even tornado warnings active across Alabama, also Mississippi and southeast Louisiana for about the last 3 to 4 hours. Well, that line is moving eastward here, so that's the area that we're going to be most concerned with as we start moving in past midday. So first alert weather day in play here, kind of looking between a time frame of about 2 p.m. to maybe as late as 7 o'clock this evening for that entire line to move through the rest of the CSRA. Strong damaging winds, large hail, and even the potential for an isolated tornado will be in play. We have that enhanced level 3 out of 5 risk. This darker beige area covers almost the entire state of South Carolina and Georgia. It does include all of the Augusta area and CSRA for that time frame that we were just talking about here. So we're going to be looking at timing impacts coming up in a moment here. 7:31, Nick.
All right, thanks, Tim. And so far this morning, no word yet from local school districts making changes to the schedule today. But USC Aiken and Aiken County Schools both acknowledge the threat coming in and have told students and parents that an update will be provided if conditions change. And of course, we'll bring you the latest updates as soon as we get them on our website, WRDW.com, and on air as well. And we're on your side with other ways you can plan ahead for the storms this afternoon. When the rain hits, there are a few flood-prone areas you may want to look out for if you live in one of those low-lying areas. One's on William Few Parkway in Columbia County. This is video taken before Hurricane Helene reached us. Remember that Thursday we had a lot of rain too. And it could look like this if it rains today. We may not know until the storm comes. Now, the flooding may not be the biggest concern with this storm, but some of those areas still do get flooding no matter how much it rains. And officials recommend signing up for alerts from the city or the county, listening to the forecast that Tim just gave you. You can also check in for the latest update during our next FastCast at 11:50, also midday, and on our digital platforms as well. If you live in an area where there are storm drains or stormwater systems, it's important to make sure the water has a place to flow. Another way to keep you and your home safe during any flooding is sandbags. You can put them outside your door where water would enter. You can wrap them up too in some plastic wrap to help out. And with the possibility of flooding, moving important items and furniture to higher levels is a helpful option too. Also, make sure you have your safe space if there is that wind and the threat of tornadoes inside the home, away from any doors or windows, so that way if a window does blow out, it's less likely to cause an issue to you right there. And of course, download the First Alert weather app and keep up with us on air and online for updates throughout the day. Scan the code right over here on your screen with your phone camera to find it in the App Store. It is free to download, and you can adjust the notification settings for things that pertain to your area. And with these storms today, there is the possibility of those tornadoes. So Augusta Fire has released this information on what to do in the event of a tornado. It gives a general list of good and bad places to be if one does touch the ground. And there are more tools to connect with as well. You could sign up for outage alerts with your electric company, for example, Dominion, Georgia Power. Both of those companies have outage maps online if you notice the power goes out. And if you need to report an outage to Georgia Power, you can call that number right there on your screen, 888-891-0938. If there are tree limbs hanging on wires or a wire down altogether, stay away from that. Don't touch any downed or low-hanging wires. Call 911 or Georgia Power to have somebody come take care of it. An apparent murder-suicide shocking a North Augusta community when a 71-year-old man allegedly killed his 67-year-old girlfriend before taking his own life. While the circumstances of this case are still unclear, local groups are working to teach people the warning signs in relationships that could lead to abuse. The Cumbie Center in Aiken says recognizing the early signs of domestic abuse and sexual assault can be critical. Those include a pattern of physical abuse, the presence of weapons or threats involving weapons. Safe Homes Augusta says it's 500% more likely for a victim to die if there's a gun in the home. And when that happens, those groups are left wondering what they could have done.
I always think, what could we do different? You know, is it a lack of training? You know, do we need to be out in our community, you know, talking more about this and what those warning signs look like? Do people really need to, do they understand that resources are available for them?
Both Safe Homes and the Cumbie Center say you can reach out to them for help. They have 24-hour hotlines you can call, and if you or someone you know is in danger, you can also reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. The statewide burn ban in South Carolina is now lifted for all but 5 counties, none of them in our area. It's Greenville, Horry, Oconee, Pickens, and Spartanburg counties, all still under that ban because of wildfires. Everybody else, including our CSRA counties, must notify the State Forestry Commission of any yard debris burning or prescribed burns. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office looking for 2 suspects in an attempted armed robbery. Deputies responding to Wheeler Road Saturday, they learned 2 suspects walked up to the victim and demanded his chain while showing guns. The victim refused and ran, which led to a chase and shots fired. Authorities say nobody was hurt in that incident. Deputies say the suspects are known to hang around the Spicewood Drive area and should be considered armed and dangerous. So if you have any information, call the number there on your screen. That's it for the news side. Let's send it back over to Tim for one final check at the weather. We did have a little bit of foggy weather out there too, Tim.
Yes, we do. That's really been the biggest concern for this morning. It hasn't been the storms. We've just been tracking those that are still well off to our west. Now, we go in and look at a little bit more of the criteria as far as the severe wind outlook. This has given us just a general information about where the areas are likely to see strong damaging winds. It is certainly highlighted across much of the two-state. In fact, the entire enhanced risk outlook from the Storm Prediction Center is really coded here with this 30% chance of strong to severe damaging winds. And we could be looking at winds gusting 40 to 60 miles per hour with a few cells that will be coming on through here. Now, rain amounts not exceptionally high, but there is a marginal level 1 risk here for western counties and going across western Georgia. Seems to be a little bit less of the flooding risk when you cross east of the river into South Carolina and North Carolina. So we'll take it on through the rest of this morning till about lunchtime. We'll start anticipating some of those stronger lines of storms getting a little closer to Atlanta by midday, but even along and ahead of that main line that will be coming in late in the afternoon, there could be a few rogue and renegade isolated stronger storms that start firing up, especially if we have some sunshine breaking out to really warm things up. And that's definitely what models look to be doing, is getting that warm air in place. Southwest winds increasing the humidity levels. Yes, there is a lot of moisture and energy associated with the storm system that will be coming on through. So 3 p.m., we're in that window right there. By 4 and 5 o'clock, this will be moving on, it looks like, through the metro areas of Augusta, Saluda, Edgefield counties, all the way down into Emmanuel counties and Swainsboro. Let's start getting into the evening hours. Beyond 6 to 7 o'clock, now we're looking east of Columbia, east of Bamberg, and areas east and along 95 going towards the Palmetto coastline and the Georgia coast. Overnight will be a much quieter look heading into tomorrow morning and a little bit cooler. We may see those temps dip in the 40s and 50s, taking it once again into some warm afternoon highs tomorrow. This is really going to be a really warm outlook for most of the week. We're talking highs in the 80s to what could be almost 90-degree highs. Morning drive has been foggy. That's that look out I-20 Riverwatch Parkway. Current temps most of the morning have been holding pattern of low to mid 60s. Visibility's less than a mile along a lot of that stretch of I-20. Going all the way into Atlanta, about a mile or less. Columbia, so be real careful driving just along some of the major highways.